What is the minister's reaction tonight on the return of the Democratic Alliance on what they say was a working visit to Washington?
And the minister has been quite clear that, look, there's only one person who can represent the government in international relations, or rather two people. It's the president and the minister himself. So they do not represent the people of South Africa, neither do they represent the government of South Africa. They went there on their own frolic, and that's that. And whatever they have achieved cannot be claimed to be on behalf of the Republic. You would recall, Chloe, that the minister himself has been to Washington. A number of other delegations sent by the authority of the president have been to Washington previously to engage on various aspects with various interlocutors on South Africa's foreign policy and also on South Africa's trade policy. So, this idea that we now have a government of national unity, therefore, even political parties can represent the government, I think is a misnomer. The DA is a non-state actor, and their actions should not be construed as that of the Republic.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Current Affairs with Mboni. Just another day, another political controversy. It looks like the USA is a very popular country to visit these days by certain members of our minorities, though. It's not everybody who's dying to go to the US to cry to Daddy Donald and get his ear about whatever bad things are happening in South Africa. No. It's not like that. Why am I talking like this anyway? Why am I saying all this? I'm saying this because the DA, the Democratic Alliance, just announced that they've concluded a week-long working visit to Washington, D.C. Okay? That's one. They've just concluded a week-long working visit to Washington, D.C. These people never even told us when they were going there, or even the reasons they were, like, they never told us that, compatriots were going to the United States for whatever reason. But here they are now telling us that they've concluded a week-long working visit to Washington, D.C. And what were they doing there, you may ask? According to their own statements, they say that the main aim was to stabilize diplomatic relations between ourselves and the United States. I just wonder, Bangenapi, because they're not the government, they're just a party, an opposition party, but they went there to the United States to stabilize diplomatic relations. So our relations are not stable. I know that. I think they know that. Everybody knows that our relationship with the United Nations right now is not very stable, thanks to groupings and another minority group called Afriforum and Solidarity, because they were already run to the US to cry to Daddy about our Land Expropriation Act. So now we have the Democratic Alliance having run there to go and do what they say is to stabilize. So at first when I heard this, I was thinking, okay, they understand that what Afriforum has done has caused some instability in our relations, obviously. So like still looking at them like, okay, perhaps, but you're not government. You see, this is the problem for me. Just me, as a lay woman, is a problem for me. It's also a problem for Mr. Ronald Lamola anyway, because as you heard his spokesperson, Crispin Piri, they're not happy with what the Democratic Alliance have done. I mean, I don't think any normal government would be happy. Yeah, this is a government of national unity, but what are you doing? What is this? What is the DA doing? What the DA have done, this has not set well with the Minister of International Relations, Mr. Ronald Lamola. We heard Crispin just now. They're not happy, but I don't know what they can do about that. Perhaps them having expressed their unhappiness and discomfort from what the DA has done, maybe these ones will papa, these ones that papa too much, the DA will stop going to meddle in affairs that have nothing to do with them like that. But anyway, the DA themselves claim that their interests lie in building a mutually beneficial bilateral relationship with the US, which is understandable because the US is obviously one of our largest trade and investment partners. You see, they've launched. They are literally one of our biggest trade and investment partners. That one is true. We don't dispute. But where do you enter? Like DA. Yes, we understand that you are worried about, our bilateral relationship. We understand that you're worried. All of us are worried, but we all know that we are irrelevant. But somehow you see your relevance. You guys saw that you're relevant somewhere. You can go somewhere in there and you can be heard. Yeah. And come back and boldly tell us that you've done such a thing. Because here you are, you've done that. This is the DA. But the strangest thing for me, and you're going to hear just now because I'm going to play a video of their spokesperson, Emma Powell, to explain exactly what they were doing in the United Nations, the United States. They've launched a legal action. These are the very same people. The DA, in case perhaps it escaped your mind at some point, the DA have launched legal action, guys, against the Land Expropriation Act, meaning that they're not for it. They're on the same page as Afriforum because they don't want it. And Afriforum don't want it. Solidarity don't want it. These people don't want it. The DA is part of the people who don't want Land Expropriation Act. And they were in America saying that they are, clarifying things, stabilizing our relationship. But these are the very same people who've gone and challenged this thing that is meant to redress for Black South Africans. These very people who speak with forked tongues, These are people who speak with forked tongues. This is why it's so sad for me when I still see Black South Africans voting for the DA, because they speak with forked tongues. You have to, if you're not used to them, you will have to listen to them very closely. But if you're used to them, you don't even have to listen to them very closely because you can just read them. Just like we are reading them now. We're reading them now. Yeah, but let me not hammer too much on that one. I will just allow the spokesperson, the International Relations and Cooperation spokesperson of the DA there, Emma Powell, to explain their nonsense of what nonsense they were busy doing there in the US in our name. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to be a South African at this point. Oh my gosh, I really am embarrassed. But let's listen to Emma Powell.
The DA has concluded a working visit to Washington, D.C., aimed at stabilizing diplomatic relations between South Africa and the USA during this period of heightened tension. As the second largest party in South Africa's GNU, the DA remains a steadfast and credible advocate for South Africa's national interests on the international stage. During the visit, the DA engaged with key decision makers at Congress, the State Department, and the White House. These discussions were aimed at ensuring that U.S. leaders receive accurate and fact-based information regarding South Africa's domestic landscape and the challenges we are currently navigating. It was clear from discussions that much work must be done in order to rebuild bilateral trust. The DA has consistently called for a comprehensive reform of South Africa's foreign policy agenda and the consistent application of our policy of non-alignment in advancing our national interests. The DA remains resolute in opposing the ANC's divisive race-based policies and advocating for a means-based approach to addressing systemic inequality. The DA has also launched legal action in respect of the Expropriation Act, and we have full faith that our courts will continue to safeguard the private property rights of all South Africans. The DA remains committed to building a mutually beneficial bilateral relationship with the USA, which is one of South Africa's largest trade and investment partners. As proud South Africans, the DA will continue to champion the interests of all of our citizens on the global stage.
There you have it from Miss Emma Powell, International Relations spokesperson of the DA. By the way, the spokespersons for every portfolio. Yeah, they're those people. So yeah, that's what Emma Powell is saying. One thing that she said just now is that the DA is a credible advocate on the international stage. You, yo, since when? But anyway, this is what the DA thinks about themselves. I also heard Emma talking about accurate information. They were taking accurate information there. Which accurate information? Which one? That they also don't support the Land Expropriation Act, because this is the reason why Afriforum has been jumping all over the place. Why they can't sit still? You now can't sit still. You've joined in the chat, DA. Just wow. But to all the confused South Africans, all the confused black South Africans who are still voting for the DA, let me tell you, the only difference between the DA and Afriforum is that the DA hides. They hide their racism. It's not overt, okay? Their racism is not overt, while Afriforum's racism is overt. And in fact, I remember growing up, I'm the sort of person who grew up at some point of my life, obviously, like many South Africans, we were growing up during apartheid, and then one day we woke up and apartheid was officially gone. But I remember hearing from fellow South Africans this very topic of who's the bad racist and who's the bad white South African. And I heard some South Africans saying they actually prefer to interact with Afrikaners. Eh? And I thought, hey, yes. And they gave a reason why. They said the reason is because with Afrikaners, you know exactly what you're dealing with. You know this is a racist, and you know how to handle yourself in that situation. They do not pretend. Whereas the English, because with us, what colonized us before, we can only identify really truly with settlers in the form of English and Afrikaners. Yeah, so this was the context. So yeah, now the English, on the other hand, they will smile, they will laugh, they will do this, they will do that, and they'll still be racist behind your back or even in front. But yeah, this is what we are dealing with when it comes to the DA and the Afriforum. But they're one and the same thing as far as I'm concerned. It says that most people are fooled. Most people are fooled. And when it comes to what kind of impact this is having, what is going on currently, what I'm seeing is that South Africans are getting tested daily. We're getting tested, including myself. We're getting tested. This is why I jumped here, because this is so testing. We get tested by the fact that we had to tolerate your racism and your oppression for years. Then we thought 94 came and we were trying to navigate what we thought was a rainbow nation, only for us to now realize that we were literally on our own. In fact, we were on our own because we were the very same people who also forgave people who never forgave. But that's our own problem, and I hope we should definitely be learning from it. Like disgruntled citizen here who now says, I hate this demographic so much. Oh, so many people are at this point. And I wonder what they hope to achieve. These people who keep prodding and testing us and testing and testing. I would really wonder what they hope to achieve, because one day you can literally succeed in pushing a people until they really, really show you a side you've never ever seen of them. But anyway, please comment down below if you also agree with me that what the DA did was not on. And once again, I'm pleading with you guys to please like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. See you on the next one.